Dave here. How are you? I'm just doing a quick post on the socials. There it goes. You'll probably get a notification on Facebook as well that the show is live. Yeah, hit the thumbs up. AV all good. Excellent. I'm hoping we're going to have more than 16 like we did last week at the beginning of the show. That was a little bit embarrassing. Now, Greater Sydney, and the Blue Mountains is part of Greater Sydney, is in lockdown with this silly COVID-19 thing for the next 2 weeks. So a lot of people are going to be hanging around and doing nothing today. The highways and roads are pretty much empty. Good, thank you very much for letting me know, and good morning to everyone. So we've got over here, because I'm looking at it in reverse, so I'm pointing over to where it's actually coming to me, but you guys are seeing me pointing over here. All right, good morning everyone. On the show today, viewers projects from Ben and Carlton. This is fantastic. I love showing viewers projects. If you've got projects, send them in to me. Create a mold for a resin pour, and the resin pour itself project will be starting next week. So this week we're going to create the mold because there's some things I need to do that are just going to need a day or two to cure before I can actually use the mold. So I can't do a pour today, but I'll show you what we're going to do. A look at the digital SLR shelf unit that we glued up last week. It's up in the office and it's loaded up with all the gear, so I've got a couple of photos to show you. Tomorrow, daylight will be 17 seconds longer than it is today. Can you believe that? We've gone past that, what's called the winter solstice for us in the southern hemisphere, and the latitude south that I'm on, which is around 32 degrees south, the days are going to get longer and quickly longer. So tomorrow is 17 seconds, the day after is close to around 20-something seconds, and it just keeps on accelerating. And that's just wonderful because it's going to be warm. I can wear this outside rather than a big woolly jumper. And another fact, the sun at midday tomorrow will be 0.1 of a degree higher on the horizon. So tomorrow it's going to be 30.1 degrees at my latitude south above the horizon. That's its first lift since the winter solstice. You all excited? All right, let's get into it. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly show you the project that we were doing the last couple of weeks. The camera shelf, this is it. This is on the wall. That's held up with a French cleat. Now, the French cleat is concealed because the back, which is from that log that I milled up on the show and after the show, is that white cedar. And then there's 1/2-inch plywood behind that the French cleat is designed in. And if you've been watching the show, I showed you how I did all of that. And then the actual box itself has got a rebate, or you guys in the States have called it a rabbit. And it's around 25 millimeters deep. So it's about 1/2 an inch deep. So that the sides of the box and all around this outside of the box, you will not see it hides the French cleat. So it's gone well. So that's from the side. And this is a nice image from underneath. So using Cole's Gifkins jig to do all the dovetails, and I showed you that on the show. And it's done a magic job. Now you'll notice the dovetails are in the side sections, so that is horribly strong. All the weight is going to be in a downward motion, not sideways at all. So the mechanical strength of those dovetails is holding everything, resisting against gravity. And I thought I'd throw a bit of gear on the shelf so you can see the reasoning behind my design. Up the top is for small lenses, and the middle shelf is for my longer lenses. That's a 200 millimeter in the middle, 70 to 200, and then the bottom, that's the tallest camera body that I've got. So that's where they're designed to fit. And on the right hand side, that's a flash gun. So basically camera bodies on the bottom with the flash guns, taller lenses in the middle, and the shorter lenses up the top. And back to me again. Now you might wonder why I'm against this background instead of over there where Zoe's workshop sign is, and normally down to where everything is behind me. It's because I'm going to be running a sheet of melamine through the table saw, and I need all of this area here. And away we go. Now, I don't need to worry about earthquakes at all. The lenses sit on there perfectly stable. That unit is so solid on the wall that the whole house would have to shake for anything to fall off. It's extremely solid. And you know, you can hit it on the side and it doesn't move. It's brilliant. All right, John, thank you for that. The Kiwi bubble, yes, is all over. Dave, casually triggering flat earthers. Good on you. Morning, Nate. All right, so that was that. Let's get into what we're going to do first before I show you some of the viewers' projects. I have to move this back that way to be able to get the board on in front of me here. So pulling the whole unit back to about there. The reason being, I'm going to slide that sheet through this way. Move some things out of the way. If I bring this back to about here, we should be all right. And this will also let you see what I'm going to do. Now, all of the things in my workshop are at the one height. So this assembly table, my table saw and outfeed, and the roll-around unit that I do a lot of docking on, which I'm going to show you later on in use. Morning, Paul. So I'll grab the sheet of melamine, which is on the other unit, and slide it through. And move these out of the way. I trust everyone's had a good week. I've been busy. Now, one of the things I'm going to do with creating a mould, there's a couple of things you need to do. You need to use a releaser agent, or in this situation, I'm going to use contact, clear contact that you cover books with. Now, I got this from a store around the time at the beginning of the year, of the school year, when kids are wanting to cover books. Put this, you know, remember as a kid you'd have to cover your book with brown paper and contact, so it didn't get dog-eared in your school bag as you're travelling home, because school kids weren't normally all that good as far as looking after stuff is concerned. Anyway, I'm trying to catch stuff in the comments down the side here as well. Anyway, so this was really cheap. I think this was around about $3 a roll, and I forget how many meters are in it, but there's a lot. So I bought about 5 or 6 rolls because I thought I might use it. I've got to clear all the dust off this melamine first, because this stuff will not stick to melamine, and we need it to hold on. Now, I could use melamine, or in this situation where I'm using the film over the top of it, I could use plywood or anything, absolutely anything. What I want to do is I'll clean all the dust off at first. Very important. Beautiful. All the dust is gone. Notice I've said all the dust is gone, but I don't believe myself. I'm still giving it a wipe down. Many of you do that. All right. Contact. Now, there is a way of putting contact on so that it doesn't stick to itself. I think that's going to be enough. Leave it rolled up. I don't want to have air bubbles in there if possible, even though it's a pour, and it's not going to really matter because I'm going to surface both sides on the CNC later on. Bob, into the naughty corner. Into the naughty corner. So I'm going to open it up. This is always fun as well, isn't it? I'm going to try and open it up. There we go. Now this is around 800 wide, this piece of melamine, and I'm going to get it so that, what's it called on there? Oh, it's the sticky tape on the end of it. I'm going to make the unit 700 wide overall, but the pieces I cut off I'm going to use as the dam around the edge. So let's get this started. Now I've got it, I've stuck it to the surface down here just a little bit. Oh, you might wonder what these are. I've been doing some tests on what will stick to contact and what won't stick to contact. So I've got a silicone gun. I've used some roof and gutter silicone. I've used some, pardon me, some caulking compound and a cheap caulking compound. And I found that the silicone is useless, but the caulking compounds are great. The silicone just rolls off because it's designed for roof and gutter, I guess. Anyway, so I've stuck it to the end. I'm unrolling it a bit so I can see what's going to happen. I'll actually unroll it a whole lot because I want to make sure that it's going to stay on the sheet and not wander off the side. You know what it's like when you're putting tape on something and it's not quite sticking or it runs off at an angle. So now I'm going to hold it back here and lift this end very slightly and reaffix it. There. That'll do me. That'll work. Now, grab it underneath here and slowly pull the backing paper off without getting bubbles absolutely everywhere. That's working well. I'm going to hit it with the roller as well to get rid of those few bubbles. This is exciting, isn't it? Oh, this is good. Okay, that's one piece. I'll get the roller. I should have got the roller out earlier. This is a veneer roller, and it lets me push all the bubbles out. So going across is best because then they're not, the bubbles aren't being forced along the job, it's just going straight out the side. Now I'm doing this before I put it over the table saw. The reason being, it's easier to throw the contact on the whole sheet, cut it, and then peel off what I don't need when the thing's finished. Slide it along a little bit. It's looking quite good. Doing a test every now and then really does help. As I say, that the silicone is quite surprising that the silicone didn't work. I'll bring it up closer so you can see it. A little bit of something sticking here. You may not see what I've got here, but this is black caulking compound. This is silicone in the middle, and see, I can roll it. Just came straight off in my hand. So don't use roof and gutter silicone on this stuff. The caulking, white caulking compound, nice and cheap, it's stuck and stayed there. All right, I'm going to spin this sheet around and put the contact on the other side as well. Bear with me for this part. It's a little bit boring, but when I've done this, I'll show the next viewer's project, and you'll be quite impressed. I was. Bring this back. It makes such a difference if you can get all of your work surfaces the one height. Sliding sheets like this around is a piece of cake. All right, this is a full roll, and let's see how we go with this one. Come on, David, you can do it. Has anyone got any special tricks on how to separate contact? 78 people watching. Lockdown. Well, there's one thing I love lockdown for. People are going to watch this show. Okay. All right. I got a couple of new patrons during the week too. Thank you very much to everyone that supports me with Patreon. It's a fantastic platform to support makers on. So if you have someone that you enjoy watching, you want to help them out financially, well then do it. No, it's not just for me. Like anyone who you like to watch, help them out. They do it for free for you. Here we go. Oh, this one's going nicer. Oh, what a way to do it. This is magic. I'll switch cameras for a second. You can see where I'm at. I'll show you what I mean. Look at that. How good is that? I should have a knife now to cut that off. Got a couple of knives down here waiting to be sharpened. Beautiful. And that's it. Put that away neatly over there. Now get the roller out. as I was saying before, it's great having all of the surfaces the same height. The most crucial thing is to get the dust off before you start. Now, if this is a bit boring for you, I totally understand, but it is live, and the whole thing is that you can see if I make mistakes or not make mistakes, see the result. You can see the amount of time it actually really takes. It's not, 5 seconds here, 5 seconds there, bang, 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 it's all done. That's not staying on that corner. Must have been some dust there. Not to worry. We're just about ready to run it through the saw. That's the side that will be on. So I need to spin it around. Dave, can you tell me where you bought the LED lights at the end of the shop? All the LED lights, what, these ones directly above me here, or these ones here over the top. These ones here, I got them all on eBay. I think I put a link. Go back through the shows, not the shows, the videos that I've done, and you'll see I think I've put a link to where I actually got these ones from. It's not an affiliate link, it's just where I got them from. And the other ones were from the Big Green Shed. All right, so now, we'll do some interesting stuff down here. Let me have a quick look. Sometimes when you fold over the corner, it helps to grab it. Yep. Capex station, no, the Capex is higher. I don't need it to be the same height. I want the Capex station up higher so that I don't have to bend down to look to see if I'm on the line. Curious, why not use your track saw? Well, because the track saw, I will be using the track saw very soon, but I find I haven't got my door here. I've got a door that I use. It's a sacrificial door. It's a base that I put under this for the track saw. I didn't want to get it out this morning. I'm just going to use the table saw. It does the job for me. I'm going to put the table saw stock guides on. Lock the mag switches. And also I get to show you this. I love this. Okay, so put that out about there, and this one out here as well. And a little bit of melamine, if I've got some kicking around. I should have a bit. Give me a second, I'll grab a piece. That's a little bit naughty of me. I should have had a piece out here. There we go. Now I need to change the blade. But first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set this up. So we do that just That's pretty easy, isn't it? I don't know if you can see that or not. You'll see it on this one. I'll just release this, and the metal part, not the wheel, comes down and touches. This is the same thickness of the product that I'm using. And you just lock it in position. And that's it. Now, basically these, for people that haven't watched the show before or watched what I do before, these things here have got one directional rotating rollers under them that will also pull in at 5 degrees towards the fence. So as I'm way back here pushing timber through, or large panels through the saw, this grabs hold of the product, pulls it hard up against, and won't let any kickback happen towards me. It's a very, very good, safe way of doing things. And I don't have the right blade in there at the moment, so I'll switch that around to a melamine blade. And you might say, well, Dave, it's only a mould. But I might want to use parts of this mould later on when I take the contact off. I've got a project I've got to make in the laundry. I've got to make a stand for the clothes dryer with a shelf and all that kind of stuff on it. So I may use some of this melamine there. Try not to put a blade down on the cast iron top. I put on my timber insert that I made. I'm after a melamine blade. This is it. So the one that was in there was a glue line ripping blade. This is a really, really nice blade. If you can get a hold of one of these, do it. They're slightly wider, they're thicker, so they really hold well. It's about 4 millimeters wide. Let me see if it tells me here. It's not going to tell me on there, it might tell me on the box, but magic blade, very, very nice. One day I'll get around to making a special drawer that all of these blades will just drop into, like a magazine rack. That'd be cool, but I haven't got to it yet. Life has been busy. All right, put that out of the way and get the melamine blade out. This thing does a magic job as well, and is also a little bit thicker than your standard blade. So why I say that is your rip fence, let's see, mine's a left-hand tilting saw, so the arbor and all the mount and everything is on the left-hand side of the blade, this side. I have to make allowance on the right, on the scale here, because the blade is actually wider, and I'm measuring from there back to that direction. Do you get it? So for this, it's not going to worry me because I just pulled 700 millimeters out of a hat, basically. I thought, what would be a good size for a desk? So I'm going to go 700 by 1.5 meters, so 700 by 1500 millimeters. Don't have to really give it to it because as the saw is turning, it tends to tighten the blade. And while I've got the piece of melamine here, what I'll do, as always, I drop this down till the bottom of the gullet here is in line with the top. Which is there. Lock it. Drop the guard. This dust guard is brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. Let me have a quick read. Morning, Cole. How are you? All right, we'll cut this and then have a look at a viewer's project. Sounds like a plan. Now remember, this has got automatic blast gates on it. I'm throwing on the eye muffs to keep me safe. Bring this over here. You can see the table saw stock guides have got a hold of it, not letting it go anywhere. I'm clear back there. It's always it's always a good idea when you're using a table saw to make sure you're not going to interfere with anything that's around on far side, so it's not going to jam as you're going in. And as you're going through, also before you actually start, you check that you've got clear passage and good support. So my table here has got plenty of support. So when I finish the cut, it can sit there and not go anywhere. I'll spin this back around this way for the moment. About there. All right. I haven't engaged the blade, I know that, because it hasn't even started to lift the guard. And that has to happen for it to be able to engage it. Let's say when I turn it on, the dust extraction is going to turn on automatically. Here we go, everything's on. All right. Do that. That's the bottom. That's the bottom of the cup. And that's from before. That blade's magic. Absolutely beautiful. So I have that covered. I'm going to cut that again in a second, but not quite yet. We'll rip this down to maybe half of that. But let's go over here to this. I'll bring this in closer so I can read, basically. Why is it called a glue line ripping blade? Well, because that blade, they say, is so good that you don't need to plane or anything after that. It's perfect. It leaves such a really good finish on it that you can glue straight away. That's it. Finished. Yes, I think you do need an alarm clock. So let's have a look at a couple of viewers' projects. Let's have a look at Ben's first. What do we got? Here we go. Now Ben's at TAFE at the moment and making some lovely furniture. This is a coffee table with a drawer in it. And you can see from the side. And with the drawer open. And then with a bit of finish on it. First coat, I think, is that, Ben? I love it. So send your stuff in. Now, Ben's son, Carlton, who I think is 11 years old, has decided he wants to pick the tools up as well and have a bit of a go at what Dad's doing. Now, Carlton has made a key ring and a box with a sliding lid. So let's have a look. The first coat. Thanks, Ash. All right. Here we go. You ready, buddy? There's Carlton with a couple of things that he's made. Now you'll see he's got the pyrography wood burner out as well. So he's burnt a key ring onto that key ring board on the chain up the top there. And on the other side, I think he's put his initials in. Oh no, Carlton Football Club maybe. Let's have a look. This is more of a close-up, so you can see the sliding lid that Carlton's put in there. And I think this is wonderful. Some nice butt joints with a few nails and a bit of putty over the top. And what else we got? This is with the lid shut. And just in case people didn't know who made it, He's put his name on the side. Now, I don't know if it's... I don't know if that's because it's your name or it's because of the club. I'm not sure. But anyway, I think that's absolutely fantastic. Here he is again, showing off all his goods. And I saw that Mum or Dad have taken the photo of him in front of the calendar. So 2021, as he looks back, you'll be able to see how he's progressed with his woodworking. That's pretty cool. I like that. I like that a lot. If you've got kids doing stuff, with you, and you want me to throw some of their projects up on the show as well, do it. Send it in to me. The email address is in the video description down below this image. All right. We'll do another one in a minute. Father and son, definitely. I love it. It's so cool. I've got another Ben. I'm going to show you some stuff from another Ben. Once we've ripped this and screwed it together, because we've got a bit to get through. Back to the other camera again. I'll quickly set it up. There we go. Yes, I agree. Beginners projects are always great to see. I'll move this over here. That out of there. I'll put this right down on the back there for the moment. I'll spin this around a little bit more so you can see what I mean about it. Just all works all the way down the shop. Go. And then back over to here. I said I'd rip this down around about the center. I've got to move that one over to there. Actually, that one I'm going to move this one up and out of the way for the moment. Tape always helps. What have I got there? 100. I'll do this at 50. Close enough. Good. All right, drop this down. Eye muffs again. Start her up. You see any dust? I'm going to read back through here. I missed that part. Both for his name, Carlton Blue, and his club, Navy Blues. That's so cool. That's pretty very, very nice. My pleasure, Ash. Absolutely my pleasure. Yep. All right. Next thing we're going to, I'll bring the camera down here the other one, and we'll set up beside the docking station. I think that should work. Come back into the picture. Yeah, that's not too bad. So you can see the super reflective look on the bench at the moment. So I need to dock this off. So I'm going to bring it through. I have a tape embedded in resin in this top. So I'm going to take it to a little bit more than 1.5. That's all good. And there. And move that out of the way. Put a dog there. Drop this down. Other way up. Cool. And just tighten that screw up a little. Okay. That ain't going anywhere. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Track saw, and using the dust port that I was given the other week. And dust extraction, of course. Cool. Throw these on. Just make sure that we've got that down. All that's good. I may take a couple off that as well. That's nice. And dock the other end. I'm probably going over the top as far as this part's concerned because I will be machining the whole thing down. But you know what they say, start as you mean to finish. And I will do a measurement on this one. Good. Do you like that? I love it. Absolutely love it. Spin this around a bit. Cool. So that's the size that this resin table is going to be. That's going to, see over in the corner there, can you see the camphor laurel? That's the kind of stuff we're going to bed into it. But not today. Obviously we're going to run out of time today to do all that. So that's beautiful. We'll put this over here. Ready to screw all the edges on. Now I'm going to go over a little bit today, not a lot, but a little bit. Maybe about 20 minutes or so, maybe a little bit longer, but we'll see how we go. Morning, Breezy Corpse Gaming. Okay. Where are we? I need these ones slightly longer than 14 than what we're going to do, so I'll put those there. Drop this and put this one in. There. Knock that off. And the other way around. I want to go longer than 1500. These ones are going to go past. The capex would be quicker, but I'm not going to go over there. 15, let's go 16 on these. Put these on, of course. I like this dust boot, it works brilliantly. Good. Now I'm going to rip 2 off this one. I think it's the right width, let's check. Of course it is. Let's swing this one around so you can see from where I'm at there. Give you a different angle of what I'm up to. Now the whole idea here is that I want, this is the width of my baseboard. This is the baseboard that I put through already. So I'm going to put those on first, and then I'm going to bring the other 2 that I've just ripped down and docked on the side. So they've got to be longer than the bottom. It'll make sense. It'll make sense. I'm going to do 2 of these. Ah, thinking, David. That way. Of course. Beautiful. Just checking myself. Tilt that down a little. Okay. So these ones are the same width as the project. These ones are longer than the project. When I say the project, it's the mould. All right, let's have a look quickly at someone else's, another Sander Inra. And this is from Ben. Every tool and gadget in the book, Dave. Do you still have a wish list? If so, it's top of your list. John. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Long life. There you go. How's that sound? Where are we? So here is a blank. Now you've probably seen these on YouTube, but this is the first person that I actually know that's making one of these. This is a blank made up of 1200 lead pencils, colored lead pencils. So it was a resin pour, like we're doing at the moment. And that was the blank after it came out of the mold. And then he machined it. What do you think of that? That's all right. I only want the tabletop to be very thin anyway, Ben. and then this one as well. That's pretty cool. All right. So back to me again. What do you think of that? I love it. Ben, you know what? You might have something there, mate. You might have something. This is one of the pieces that I'm going to put in there. So I can have a look. I can do it on the top. Yep, that'll work. See that? That'll do it. So we'll come up from underneath. So I shall put these on top that way. And maybe I'll put them in between. 700 will drop down around about 30 millimeters. It won't worry me if it's 670. Will not worry me. All right. Ben, I was kind of thinking that in the back of my head as well. So we'll put these ones on first, then we'll cut the other ones in between. And that'll be fine. So I need a drill. And we'll drill along the side here. I'll come down through the top. I'm not going to put a heap in. And across the side, back. Yeah. Yeah, I'll put one here. Now we're going to seal as well. This is a 4mm drill bit that I'm using, brad point. So it's doing a nice clean cut on the entry. And I'm coming in at 8mm because it's 16mm. Now how do I know it's 8mm? Because I've been doing it for years. Now one of the other tricks is I'm not going to use ordinary countersunk screws. I'm going to use Craig screws. I'm going to use 1.5" Craigs. What is going on there? The silly things that pop up on computers. I don't know. Do we ask for it? No. Microsoft says, here you go, you're going to have it whether you like it or not. On the side would have been better. But this will work. This will work just fine. Because of something we're about to do. Those ones on the end. Couple of clamps. That's gone on pretty well. Do you want to see the kind of things I used to do with the Windows 11? Gotta love Windows. Some of the things I used to do with the cameras. This is a photo I took years ago. So that's the kind of stuff I did. Sports photography. That was down at the local Whitewater Rapids park, river park. It's very rewarding, you know, especially when you take a photo and someone turns around and says that they really liked the shot that you took of them. I like that one, so I kept it. All right, let's put a couple of screws in. I'm going to flip this over. It was at the Whitewater Centre at down in Penrith, just near the Blue Mountains. Could have been the venue that they had it for the Olympics. The work or the word Nikon? From top to bottom. I'm not quite sure what you mean there, John. Can you expand on it a bit, please, buddy, and then I'll try and answer it. So you can see that having the release product all the way round on everything before we started, word from top to bottom. Well, I think it is, isn't it? Look, we're coming up to 12. So what I'll do at this stage is, so it reads from top downwards. It does on the right-hand side, and on the left-hand side, it reads as well. Yeah, it's all working off the base, off the wall side. So as I'm coming in from the left, it reads Nikon downhill, and on the right-hand side, it reads Nikon uphill. I use Craig screws because they work so much better getting a grip into this kind of stuff without drilling. They're a lot kinder on the product. So what I'm going to do is, no, I stuff it. I'm not going to rush it. I'm going to do it properly. If you want to hang around, I'll get it done. We'll finish the mold, and then we'll close the show up. Last thing I want to do is have a mistake. All right, going to dock these off. Going to measure it again. I did it professionally for a while. I worked for a few different companies. I worked for Slazenger. I worked for Sydney University and Pacific Brands. I used to do all of their catalogue for tennis. I used to shoot Pat Rafter because he was a Slazenger player, sponsored player in Australia. 1470. Give me a sec, I'll do this. 470. So I'm going to show you how it doesn't leak. It'll work well. 470. 1470, wasn't it? Let's go to the other camera again. And so I've got the other two pieces in here. I'm going to cut them. It was just a touch shy. There we go, that's better. To go in here. Back to this one. Hello from Saturday, David. I can take that off. And this one off. And hopefully these are going to fit. I'll give them a quick hit with the roller as well. So for people that have come in late, I haven't used packing tape, I've used clear contact. That's going to go in there. And a clamp on there. Bring it back towards me a little bit so it's overhanging. Oh, this is nice. It's very rewarding when you spend a little bit of time trying to get it right. Is there another clamp around, David? There it is. All right, this time I'm going to have to flip it over and rotate it. So that the clamps are hanging down behind. They're down on my side, so it's not sitting up in the air, so I can put the screws in correctly. Yeah, so if anyone's curious, that's the kind of screw I'm using. They're a self-tapper, Robinson head, number 2. No, it's a veneer roller. But I guess you could use a wallpaper roller. What am I talking about? Yep. It gives just the right amount of pressure. Ken, these are Bessie clamps. Click clamp. K-L-I-K-L-A-M-P. They're very handy. Now while I've got it there, I'll drill a hole in the end. both ends to lock the corners in. Okay, I can take all the clamps off. On this side, all right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to screw this one on later on because the show's going to go over too far. So I'll spin this around and you can see how I'm going to do things. It's very important to get a good seal. Resin will run. It will find the tiniest crack and it will run. So we need to make sure that it's sealed. So I'm going to use this. Is basically an acrylic gap filler, and interior and exterior. So I will run it down this corner. Now a lot of people will push into the joint. I tend to drag, and I'm also going to go up the corners. Now you don't need a heap. Come back just a little bit. All right. You can, if you want to, run along with your fingers and squeeze it in. There's one of the other things you can do is you can use water with detergent in it and a spray bottle and squeeze it over it, and that will let it it won't smear up the edges, but that's not going to worry me at the moment. So I'm just going to bit of special lick on the finger. Both directions. Make sure you get it so that it doesn't have anything left. A rag of some sort. Tissues will do me. This is water cleanup. Getting rid of the excess there. Anywhere you think might be a spot where it can get away, you really do need to seal it up. A little spot there. Cool. Okay. Now that is done. Ready. So you can see I've got the caulking compound right the way into the corner here, right the way around. Yet there's little things you can buy that make life easy, and go for it. All right, I think that might do us for today, guys. We'll do the patrons after show as well. So if you're a patron or if you want to become a patron, you go down into the description box below. There's a link there to how to become a patron. You jump in, follow that site, log in, and then you can use the link that's in my Patreon page to join the chat. If you want to. We chat for about half an hour. It can be anything from what's happening with the lockdown. It could be about what happened on the show today. Could be about a project that you're doing. You might want some of the people there to give you some advice. A lot of people are happier just to be in a kind of a closed area. There's only around about, at the most, I think maybe 10 or 11 people drop in at a time. So it's not as though you've got the whole world watching you. It's just it's a closed area. So if you want to, jump in and have a look there. I'm going to check my run sheet, make sure we've done everything. Down the side here, what we've done on the, I need to go over there because the camera, the mouse wasn't working properly there. Everything's done. And you know what? One last shot of Carlton. I reckon that's a fantastic effort. Young guys need to be encouraged. Young guys and girls need to be encouraged to do some woodwork and have some fun. So back to me. All right. He's got a red face. How's he good on him? Okay. Close show video. Thanks for watching. If you like what I'm doing, give me a thumbs up. Look after yourselves. Be nice to each other. And I shall see you all next week.